Welcome to Taste Different podcast. I just wanted to let you guys know something.
Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile. So I need you to do this right now. I need you to press the like and subscribe button. I need you to also click that little bell for the notifications to let you know when we upload something. So please don't forget to do that before we get started today. And we really appreciate it. So what's for dinner? We go to the home of the throne rolls and we throw them things right back with Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. Hood, Outlaws, and Legends is a game from the developer Sumo Digital with Focused Home Interactive as the publisher. This game is on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It's on the Series. I'm sorry, I should say it's on the Series X and Series S, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Windows. So pretty much every console and your computer. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And here we go. So let's start this podcast out today. I think we want to start with Patrick because I am so excited, absolutely thrilled to hear what Patrick has to say about this game.
Yeah, I threw an extra little bit of heat on my roll when I threw it back. I even coated in a little molasses before I chunked it back so it'd stick on the side of their face. This game is not fun. It's not fun because, there's quite a bit that's not fun about it. But the game tries to be one of these PvEpvP games from the point of there's no levels. There's just, you gain cosmetic items mostly. But the game has one thing that throws it for a loop, and that you gain perk points, and you can put perks into abilities that help your character out. So that doesn't lend well to a game where they have no ladders. What I mean by ladder is that if you're PvPing, it doesn't put you with a level 99 character or level 50 if you're just starting out, because why would they do that? Makes no sense. But, this game has none of that. So it's a really rough starter for anybody who doesn't get in the beginning. But, I struggled with it. Shane, how about you, man? What'd you think of this one?
Oh, let's see. PvP, PvE, POS. This game is... I'll start with just a compliment. It does have a good ideal to draw from with the Robin Hood name and the tales and all that. That's where it stopped. They had a good ideal, but instead of making the right turn with it, they went left down some crappy lane, and it's just awful. There's so many bad decisions. What you were just talking about with the laddering thing. How many times did we go up against 99s and we're rolling threes? It was ridiculous. The combat is not bad. When you're doing the AI training stuff, it really isn't bad. It's a fun game to a very little point. When you're doing that with your guys, with your crew, with your buddies, but other than that, there's nothing in this game that is fun. We had more fun laughing about how unfun this game was than we did actually playing the damn game. And that's heartbreaking. I'll go into more whining and complaining, here just a bit. Let's get Nick's opinion. Nick, what is your whining and complaining going to be?
Oh, I actually love this game. No, I'm just joking.
You bastard.
This game was bad. It was, yeah. I mean, pretty much everything you guys said. It's very unbalanced, I think. There's at least there's 4 characters you can choose from, which is fine. They all have their different abilities and stuff, but it seemed like this game was kind of littered with some issues, especially with the controls and stuff. Abilities not being activated or not activate when you do them, and certain things just not working. And it seemed like one character, which was Took, I don't know what he was, but he had the ball and chain. The monk, I guess, with the ball and chain. He seemed very overpowered, especially when he starts getting his perks. And I'm sure we'll go into kind of some explanation about the perk system and stuff. But when he would get that, he seemed like he was almost invincible to the point where he can pretty much steamroll the entire group while everybody else just does everything else. I mean, he could just stay alive. His survivability was so high, it's almost impossible. So yeah, and that would come to a problem, like Shane was saying, where we go up against 99s and most of them would be playing that character, and or at least one of them would be, or maybe two, and those matches were just not fun. I mean, without a ladder system or anything like that, this game is really weird in the sense that I will say, what Shane alluded to, they have two different modes, one where you can verse AI and one where you can verse real people. And the versing AI portion does nothing for you. You get no advancements in anything, and everything's cosmetic except for the perks. So it's really odd that they would have this mode. I mean, it's there for training, and I get that point, but where they would just restrict you to playing as people to even advance or even unlock perks and stuff, I would say, if you want to have people PvP, let them do the AI and get all their perks and everything like that. And then everybody can come to the PvP realm and do all that. But they just restrict it to PvP, which would be fine if you were matched up against people on your level playing field. But the fact that you're not, it makes it pretty much unplayable and not fun in any way. But yeah, this game is definitely one to pass up, in my opinion, but I'm sure we'll talk more about the different stuff related to the game. What about you, Russ? What did you think of Hood?
I'm really surprised that the group of you guys didn't mention another key aspect that was really disappointing in the game is that it had one game mode. It had one singular game mode, and that was basically you get the key off the sheriff, you go grab the treasure, and then you try to take it off on your ship. That's it. That's all. That's every single match was that exact same kind of model, or I should say level. I mean, at least other games. I mean, even WoW has got Warsong Gulch and a whole bunch of different things to do. But I mean, it's when you have a game that is premised around PvP and you have one mode. I don't understand how you release a game like that. It is a strictly PvP game. Because like Nick alluded to, you do not get anything from doing the PvE matches. And everything that you do get on the PvP side is cosmetic, except for the perks, which the perks give you some small upgrades on the style of play that you most enjoy. It does get some things that might be a little bit OP. They had some balancing issues for sure. I played the assassin. Unless you are absolutely directly behind a player and not seen, you cannot get your ability off. You cannot get the main thing because you cannot melee as an assassin. You have to assassinate. And then that was a huge problem for me. What's ironic is we think we played 3 matches, 3 PvP matches. We went 2 for 3. We actually won 2 of them. I think the last one kind of broke everybody because it was the most stressful thing that we'd ever done, I think, in our gaming careers, but we won it. But at the same time, when you have characters that aren't responding, or at least abilities that you have that aren't responding in the way that you were taught in the PvE tutorial, it is definitely a difficult game to get behind. I didn't hate the game. I disliked it strongly. But I there was still some parts that were just fun. I mean, I thought it was fun as a group. I actually had fun the last match we played. Everybody else was like white knuckled and exhausted, but I love it when it's that tense. And we end up pulling out a win. But I am struggling to give this game enough credit to say go out and buy it, but it's definitely a sell game already, in my opinion. But it's like a sell game. But anyway, we'll open the floor to everybody to kind of complain some more. It won't be as bad probably as our EA stuff, guys, but it's going to be pretty rough here. So bear with us.
Yeah, it's a rough game. I mean, without a ladder system, as we'd mentioned earlier, it just doesn't lend. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, here's what it is there's 10 ranks, basically. I think 10 ranks per character and like 10 or 20 ranks per character, and then like 100 player ranks. And it unlocks things. So like perks, you have 3 perk slots as a character, and you can put ability into each perk slot has a set number of abilities that can go in it. So perk slot 1 has, 4 abilities. Perk set 2 has 4, and then perk set 3 has 4 different abilities. And you can pick one and put it in the perk slot. I played Took, was the one who Nick says is overpowered. And I will agree. Like if you do the heavy-handed ball thing, it knocks off like over half the health on most people except Little John. But you know, he also throws a gas bomb that drains stamina for anybody who's in it. It also drains your stamina, but you can put a perk in it to where it doesn't drain your stamina, or you can put a perk in it to where it heals your team. So that's what I'm saying, is that those perks give you benefits that the people who are new aren't going to have. So I feel it's an odd game for this to not have any type of ranking system, because we came in after running 2 or 3 PvE matches just to get a feel of how the maps would go. Maybe we did more than that, because we did all but like 1 or 2 of the maps to see what they were and how to navigate them. And then we went in there and, you know, the first group of D-bags we ran into thought they were just going to farm us the whole match, you know, and so they captured the treasure, ran all the way to the end, left the treasure at the end. And so we just freaking ran there and ganked it and railed it up real quick. Got it the last second by the time they got in, you know, stuff like that, because there was a bunch of like 64s and there's a 99, like a 48 and a 50 something in there. And here's 4 level 3s rolling in there. Like, oh, we got these guys, you know, so stuff like that. It definitely lends to showing people when you're a noob in a game, which is not beneficial for a game like this, since there's no way to, I mean, and they probably had to do this for a reason. And the reason is because it's not a popular game. Not very many people, they probably figured not very many people would pick it up. And I don't think very many people will pick it up. I am definitely like not even a sale buy on this game. I am highly disappointed I bought it and wish I could have returned it. I don't like this game, and I don't mind PvP games. I mean, I play For Honor, I play a few other things, you know, I'll play them to the ability, but like For Honor, you're not going to go in and get something that another player's not going to have. Everybody has the same abilities. Everything's cosmetic. This game is not everything is cosmetic, but if it was, it would make it a little bit easier to swallow that you're getting owned, or that you're like, oh, this guy threw down his smoke bomb. He's going to take the same amount of stamina damage as I am. So I'm not worried about getting out of it, because he's going to be out of stamina at the same time I am, except for maybe he spec'd into it with a perk and he's not taking stamina drain while I am. So too many negatives to try to throw in a game where they don't do any type of ranking or leveling system. Like, don't throw a level 1 in the same party as a level 90 against a 99. It just doesn't make sense, and it leaves a very sour taste in people's mouth. So that was a straight out of the gate. This game's garbage. So,
So at least
I will say it's complete garbage.
they should at least scale losing. Like, if you're going to get points, or if you're going to get, I can't remember if it's XP or whatever, you get the perk points, at least scale those. I think we lost a match and we got like 35 points or something like that. And in the first level, I think there's like 1,500 points you need. And, you know, so I need to go in and lose 50 matches before I can get, you know, the first level would be basically what it is. So, you know, if they maybe scaled that a little bit more, but my biggest gripe, and I'm going to continue to gripe on it, is that it had one mode. I mean, how are you going to release a game that has one mode? I mean, how do we play a game like, we could go back, probably the 4 of us, and play Counter-Strike for 3 or 4 hours and have a great time with it. And that is a game that is 20 something, like right at 20 years old, if not 18 years old. And here's a game that is brand new, built for a new console, built for a new generation of game. And we can't even spend more than an hour and a half on it without losing our minds. So it definitely is. Like I said, not that I hate it, I do dislike it, but there is some very, very big things wrong with it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of bad choices made in this game, in my opinion, when they were developing it. Graphics aren't bad at all. The controls in PvE ran just fine. PvP is where we had the problems. I think their online setup might be issued up. But the reason, Russ, we didn't bring up the one mode is there's so little to the actual game. We had to have something for each of us to complain about at the beginning. I mean, it's just that bad. And like I said at the beginning, they had so much to draw from with the whole Robin Hood legend, books and movies. And man, as we were all joking at the beginning, Men in Tights would have been better inspiration than what they did on this damn thing. You know, like I was saying, you know, when we were talking about this game as we were playing, why didn't they just make this thing a story-based thing where you could go co-op with your friends, robbing from the rich, taking from the poor, you know, whatever it is you're going to do. But the director or whoever is like, all right, we're going to just do half. And then they didn't even do half. They did maybe a quarter what they wanted to do. I think they probably had some more ideals, and somebody came along, let's just put out what we got. One mode, 4 characters. Nothing works correctly when you're playing online, and somebody was good with it. I think it comes down to just somebody making a lot of bad choices, because I think the game had promise, but somebody was making dumb choices about it and took away the promise. So
I think they knew it was a turd sandwich from the word get-go, and that's why it was only $30.
That's true. That's true. They were probably shooting for a 60, but there's nothing there. I mean, I think they could, if they'd have put 3 or 4 modes into it, that would have definitely been a lot better. With all the other problems still intact, I still think it would have been better. It wouldn't have been more than a $30 game still. Because honestly, like you were saying, Pat, this is not even a sell game for me. I mean, this is pure disappointment, because when we first saw it, I was like, this could be pretty cool. I mean, 4 player, not 3, it's 4. That's a good sign. And then it just took away any hope we had, plain and simple. Mickey Mouse in a cornhole.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the one mode thing either. You know, there's 5 maps in this game, and the maps consist of morning, afternoon, evening, sun's almost gone, sometime around maybe 4 or 5. Then we're talking about the arc of the sun, right? That's pretty much every map. Every map was named something, but I swear, going through them, they almost look identical. Even the pictures. They have different names, but each picture is like basically a picture of the cathedral, you know, the tower there at that map. And that was every single picture, except for the lighting was different. And when you went into it, it was pretty much the same. I was like, you know, once you get in there and you go in the map, the only one that I could tell was the marshland map, is because you start in the marshland. All the other ones, I couldn't tell you what that map was compared to all the rest of them. They all looked the same. And even the marshland looked the same, except for the fact that there was the marshland out there. That's the only thing you're like, oh, okay, we're in the marshlands because there's a bunch of water. Other than that, and they're all looking the same. So, yeah, I mean, it's got several different problems. This game would have been better off being something like maybe an early access or something, where they could just have a small entry fee, and then people could make suggestions and they can make changes and kind of, you know, build it up to release. That might have worked better for them. Or I like the way that Shane went with it, where, you know, and we even talked about this where we're playing a Robin Hood like story campaign. It can even make it 4 players with maybe those 4 characters, but where you're going through a storied campaign of Robin Hood and the Merry Men and all that stuff, and that would have been a lot better than whatever this was. It was almost like they were just wanting to make this. They had this PvEvPvP thing, and they slapped on Robin Hood just to have some sort of marketing behind it, right? Just something like, oh, well, this is Robin Hood. Like, if you stripped away the word Robin Hood and everything, you would just think this is a bunch of 4 weird people in the medieval ages stealing treasure. You wouldn't even think it would be Robin Hood at all, right? So, I mean, they just slapped it on there and gave everybody names compared to Robin Hood. And other than that, you know, that's about it. Plus, this game also has one issue too, which we ran into playing the PvP match, was they have the sheriff in the game that you're supposed to steal the key from. And then once you steal the key and you get the treasure and you start hoisting the treasure, the sheriff makes their way there. Now, the sheriff cannot be killed, but he can be downed. He's a little OP, but if you got bombs, you can take care of him. But what happened to us is we were on the opposing side, not cranking the thing. And once you get to an area where you put the treasure at, there's 2 gates that lock. And there's other ways to get there, but these are like the main like beeline areas that you can go through. The only person that can open up these gates is John. Well, when we were playing, there's different respawn points you can take throughout the game as well when you're playing. We had one respawn point, and we all beelined it towards the gate, and who was standing right in front of the gate was the sheriff. Not going through the gate, just standing there. So he was basically helping the other people because he'll attack us too, and he's like one hit kill. So now we have to basically jolt it halfway across the map just to get to the people. So by the time we did that, they already got it cranked up because he was stuck in front of the gate. So this game has a lot of bugs and issues, and it's practically, I mean, it's playable, but it's just not fun. And it's got a lot of unbalancing issues and a lot of characters. Some characters like Took is a little overpowered, and yeah, just imbalances everywhere. So I would agree. I don't think this is a sell game. This is one game you find in the bargain bin, you throw it back in the bin.
You put it under all the other games under the very bottom. Russ, would you come back to this game, say, in 6 months if you saw that they were adding a couple new modes and making some life improvements on it? Would just be something, because you've had the most glowing review about it so far, and it's kind of sad. But would you come back to it and with a little hope that maybe it'd be better if they added a few things, life improvements and whatnot?
I don't know. I mean, to kind of what Nick's point is with it, it's like there's just so many little bugs. Like, I mean, I'd have to know. Like I think I might have mentioned earlier, I played the assassin within this. I played Marianne, and I mean, you have to be directly behind a player in order to assassinate. That is your ability. Yes, it is a one kill. I get it, risk and reward and stuff like that. But like, I would vanish, and the players could see me vanish. They could see the outline. We saw the outline of the other player. Like, well, if you're going to give me that ability, if you're giving me that little bit of extra something, because if anything else happens, I'm dead. I mean, once I'm seen, there is very little I can do. I could vanish and go run away or something and hope that I find a place. But then again, there you guys are in the battle fighting, and I can't really get in there. I mean, I can shoot. They do have a range, and the ranged weapon is okay, but it's not like Robin where it's a one-shot kill as well. So it's like that imbalance is what's keeping me from saying completely yes, Shane. I mean, that imbalance is just, it is unfortunate, because this would be a good game for us to kind of keep in the queue as a four-man team, because it is a 4-player co-op game. But I mean, I think I don't even think I get Patrick or Nick back to that game. So they'd have to do some insane changes. And I don't think that there's any amount of changes that change their mind. So in proxy, I wouldn't be able to play, because I'm not about to play with a bunch of, people, random people I know. That's for sure.
Well, you brought up another point there. Anybody can assassinate anybody. It's stupid, because, and I'm okay. I understand the running around the bushes and assassinating people, but all you have to do to assassinate somebody is get behind them and duck. Don't matter if they're in combat. Don't matter if not, because I was assassinated by Little John fighting 2 other people, and he just comes up behind me, ducks into a crouch, and assassinates me. That is stupid. I mean, the game has got it's not bugs. It's working as intended, and it's intended to be dumb as shit. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, well, let's talk about the game. The rotation of the game is both parties spawn in. They have to find the sheriff of Nottingham. They have to find him. He has the key. You have to steal the key off of him. Then you have to find where the treasure's at. And all the time, well, if you get seen by guards, they shut gates in the district you're in to try to, cornhole you into the district, And then you have to find the vault, because the vault random spawns every time you go in. So you go find the vault. You open the vault, and as soon as you open the vault, the whole place kind of goes on lockdown. So one person's carrying the chest, the other 3 teammates are kind of running guard, trying to protect the person, and then you drop it to the crank. So the crank has 2 cranks on it. It doesn't do anything unless there's players on it. So the players, 1 person or 2 people can crank the treasure up, and you have I think 4 or 5 levels. I can't remember how far to get through, and you can expend stamina to make your character crank faster. You can also spend perk points in certain characters so that you can crank that sucker faster. And if you don't, and so you hit these tick marks. So I can't remember, there's 5 or 6 or 4, but every time you hit a tick, that's a level that you get a bonus cash reserve on. And if you're cranking it again and you don't quite make it all the way before somebody hits you, it drops back down to the previous tick mark. So you got to keep doing that. And that's every map in a nutshell. The whole time while you're fighting NPC guards and the other team is trying to take it away, because once you put on the crank, it doesn't mean it's yours. Another team could come in and just start cranking on that sucker and crank it up, because that's what we did. We stole it from those 1 guys who thought they were just going to farm kill us, because Two of us just ran over there and started cranking it while the guys were just farming a couple of other ones of us at the graveyard. And I'm like, well, these guys are going to lose this one because they're just going to crank it up. So, and then at the end, it leads more into that Robin Hood theme of you either keep more of the gold or you give the gold to the people. It gives you a decision tree that says, hey, I want to keep more gold or give more gold. And you need to spend gold on perks and cosmetic items and stuff like that. And we've mentioned there's 4 characters. There's Robin the Ranger. There's Marianne the Hunter. There's Little John the Brawler. And then there's Took the Mystic. You know, they're all characters from that. What was it? Robin of Locksley and Earl of Huntington stories. So that's the game in a nutshell. That's all there is. It's that over and over and over and rinse and repeat. So it gets boring really quick, and it's just OP to have to go against somebody who's been playing it for a while, and you're a brand new player. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can play as many PvE matches as you want. It's not going to prepare you for PvE going against players who can buy perks and stuff, because you can't buy any perk. You can't level up the individual classes in PvE, you know, the learning the game. All you can do is level up your main character, which is a 1 to 99 thing, which I don't even know what the heck that does. It doesn't seem to do anything besides say, hey, look, I played this game for a really long time. You know? So the game is very bad and balanced, and just, it's an awful game. And I'm very sad that I bought it. And if you don't like PvP and you don't like doing the same thing every 15 minutes, then don't get this game, because there is nothing to it. It's very repetitive, very much same 3 steps: find the sheriff, steal the treasure, and then escape with it. You know, same thing, rinse, repeat. 5 different maps, nothing different. I think they're going to add a new character somewhere down the map that they put on the roadmap, but this game needs more variety if it's going to do like that. But it also needs to remove the perk system if they're going to do that, in my opinion. If you're going to not have laddered matches or ranked matches, you need to do away with the perk system, because you need to put, if you're not going to rank it or anything like that, you need to put everybody on a level playing field.
And I'd like to apologize for his S-bomb he dropped. I was so offended by it. Nasty boy, you're nasty. But can't blame him either. He's absolutely right with everything he just said. It's a lot of wrong choices made while developing it. Great concept, nothing more than that. That sucks. So now I want to play a Robin Hood Men in Tights game.
I'd rather watch that movie sober than play this game on repeat for week on end.
I love that movie, so I'll watch it any way I get it. But yeah, I wouldn't pay a drop of shit for this, pardon my language, but yeah, it's crap. And it's heartbreaking that it does suck, because we finally got a 4-player freaking game.
Cool. Well, anybody else got anything else they want to, anybody else want to crap on the floor on this one?
Come on. No. Who wants to give it one good waffle stomp before we go?
I would just say it's, you can look at the reviews and stuff out there, and there's a lot of people that have the same consensus as we do. If you're on the fence about this game, just, you can do what you like, but I'm telling you right now, it's not worth your time.
It's not even worth getting on the fence for. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Yeah, you're just going to get knocked right off the fence of that giant cow patty. All right. Well, they're kicking us out of the restaurant now because there's sorghum molasses covered rolls stuck all over the employees. We're getting shoot out and the cops called. So I think we're going to have to call this one quits for the night.
Yep. Google this,
right.
By the way. I'm going to take my tomatoes and macaroni to go, please.
All right. All right. Well, we hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you don't buy this game neither, because it's not very worth it. We hope to catch you in the next episode.
See you.